Men over 60 listen closely, because this one snack, sitting right there in your pantry, could be quietly destroying your erections bite by bite without you ever realizing it. It's not something your doctor will tell you. It's not something you'll hear on the news. But if you care about keeping your energy, your confidence, and yes, your intimacy alive, you need to know this. You see, there are 5 popular nuts that millions of seniors eat every day thinking they're making a smart, healthy choice. But in reality, they're flooding the body with inflammation, lowering testosterone, and damaging the very blood vessels that make strong, reliable performance possible. Now, before we dive in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon. Because here we don't sugarcoat the truth. We expose what no one else dares to say. And I want to know you're with me. If you care about your health, type 1 in the comments right now. If not, type 0. Either way, your voice matters more than you know. Now, let's start with the first one. A nut that looks clean, tastes smooth, and hides behind a reputation for being healthy. But for older men, it's a sweet, salty trap. Let's start with cashews. They seem harmless, right? Smooth, buttery, elegant, almost luxurious. They're the kind of snack you might find in a nice bowl on the coffee table, or tucked into a gift basket next to a bottle of wine. They look like the healthy choice. But here's the truth. For men over 60, cashews can be a dangerous illusion. I've had dozens of patients come into my office swearing they'd cleaned up their diets, they ditched the chips, they gave up ice cream. And in its place, a handful of roasted cashews before bed. But despite all their efforts, their energy was dropping, their confidence was shaky, and their performance in the bedroom had nearly vanished. They couldn't understand it. They were doing everything right. Until we looked closer. Because most of the cashews sold today aren't what they seem. They've been roasted in processed seed oils like canola, soybean, or sunflower oils that cause inflammation throughout your body. And that inflammation doesn't stop at your joints or your gut. It hits your blood vessels, including the ones that supply blood to your most sensitive and important areas. Strong erections rely on clean, flexible arteries. When those arteries become inflamed and stiff, blood can't flow like it used to. And no matter how healthy you feel otherwise, that stiffness shows up when it matters most. Now let's talk about something even more subtle, the sugar. Many roasted cashews are lightly glazed or dusted with flavors that sound comforting: honey roasted, maple glazed, even cinnamon. But even a little added sugar can create a ripple effect in your body, especially after 60. That sugar spikes your insulin. And high insulin levels do more than just store belly fat. They lower your body's natural testosterone production. They tilt your hormones toward estrogen. And over time, they shift your body into a state that works against your masculinity. I had one man in his late 60s, let's call him Frank. He was exercising, taking his medications, watching his diet except for his evening ritual of sweet roasted cashews. He thought they were his healthy reward. But when we ran his labs, the results were clear. His inflammation was high, his testosterone was low. His nitric oxide levels critical for blood flow were bottoming out. When we pulled those flavored nuts out of his diet and replaced them with better sources of healthy fats, something incredible happened. Frank's energy came back, his morning erections returned, and his confidence. He said it was like waking up as his old self again. Now maybe you're thinking, well, what about dry roasted cashews with no sugar? Even those can be a problem. Why? Because the high heat used to roast and preserve them can damage the healthy fats inside the nut. This leads to oxidation, a process that breaks down those fats into harmful compounds. And those compounds don't just sit quietly in your system. They chip away at your endothelium, the fragile inner lining of your arteries. Think of it like hairline cracks in a water pipe. You don't notice them at first, until one day the pressure builds and everything slows to a trickle. That's exactly what happens in the arteries that deliver blood where you need it most. They narrow, they stiffen, and over time, they stop doing their job. Now, I'm not saying you have to banish cashews forever. If you truly enjoy them, there's a safe way to enjoy small amounts. But here's the catch: they must be raw, organic, unsalted, and completely free from added oils or sugar. And even then, moderation is key. A few raw cashews once or twice a week might be fine. But if they've become your daily snack, your comfort food, your go-to treat, you could be undermining everything you're working for. Because this isn't just about one snack, it's about your circulation, your hormones, and the quality of your life as a man after 60. Cashews may look like a smart choice, but for many men, they're the first step down a slippery slope toward low energy, poor blood flow, and lost confidence. And if that's happening to you, it's not your fault. It's marketing, it's misinformation, it's the assumption that if it's sold next to healthy snacks, it must be healthy. But now you know better. And when you know better, you can do better, and you're going to want to. Because the next nut on this list is even more deceptive. It's not technically a nut at all, but it's in nearly every pantry in America. And for older men trying to eat clean, it's a silent hormone disruptor. Let's talk about peanuts. They're everywhere, in your pantry, at every party, in peanut butter jars, trail mixes, protein bars, even in snacks marketed as heart healthy. For decades, peanuts have been sold to us as a convenient, protein-packed food. Something wholesome, familiar, comforting. But here's what most men don't know. Peanuts are not actually nuts, they're legumes. And that one small difference makes a huge impact on your body, especially as you age. Peanuts behave differently in your digestive system and bloodstream than true tree nuts. And while they do contain protein, they also come with hidden dangers that can quietly disrupt your hormones, increase inflammation, and compromise your ability to perform. One of the most alarming issues, a substance called aflatoxin. It's a naturally occurring mold that can grow on crops like peanuts when they're stored in warm, humid environments, which is exactly how many peanuts are harvested and transported. Now here's the scary part. Aflatoxins are invisible. They have no taste, no smell, no warning signs. But once they're inside your body, they put enormous pressure on your liver, spark systemic inflammation, and have been linked to reduced testosterone production and impaired fertility in men. Imagine this: you're spreading peanut butter on your toast each morning, or grabbing a handful as a snack, and unknowingly feeding your body something that chips away at your sexual strength over time. But it doesn't end there. Peanuts are also extremely high in omega-6 fatty acids. Now, omega-6s aren't bad on their own. Your body needs a small amount of them. The problem is balance. When your intake of omega-6 skyrockets, especially without enough omega-3s to counteract it, you create a chronic inflammatory state in your body. And inflammation is the enemy of healthy blood flow. It stiffens your arteries. It damages the endothelium, that delicate inner lining where nitric oxide is produced. And without nitric oxide, your blood vessels can't relax and expand. Blood doesn't flow freely, and erections become weaker, slower, or disappear altogether. Now, let's look at peanut butter. Most store-bought peanut butter is loaded with more than just peanuts. You'll find added sugar, hydrogenated oils, emulsifiers, preservatives. These ingredients are added to improve texture, extend shelf life, and create that smooth spread you love. But for your body, they're a disaster. Added sugar spikes your insulin, leading to weight gain around the belly and lower free testosterone. Hydrogenated oils clog your arteries. They're associated with poor circulation and increased risk of heart disease. And when those arteries are compromised, especially the small sensitive ones supplying blood to the penis, performance becomes unpredictable. or impossible. I've had patients tell me Dr. Peanut Butter is my comfort food. I've eaten it for years. And I get it. There's nostalgia there. But there's also a cost. These same men were struggling with fatigue, low libido, soft erections. And when we looked deeper, their lab results revealed high inflammation, low testosterone, and poor vascular function. We removed peanuts and peanut products from their diet, and within weeks, many of them noticed a difference. Their waistlines slimmed. Morning erections returned. Energy levels improved. And it wasn't magic. It was about removing a food that had been silently harming their hormonal and vascular systems for years. But there's one more concern with peanuts that often flies under the radar: phytoestrogens. These are plant-based compounds that can mimic estrogen in the male body. And for older men whose testosterone is already declining, this can tip the hormonal balance even further in the wrong direction. More estrogen, less testosterone, more fatigue, more emotional dullness, less desire. Over time, that hormonal shift can deeply affect not just your physical performance, but your confidence, motivation, and sense of vitality. And here's the most frustrating part. It doesn't happen overnight. There's no sudden crash. It's slow, subtle. You just wake up one day and realize something feels off. You're not as sharp, not as driven, not as connected physically or emotionally. And the last thing you think to blame is a peanut. But now you know. If peanuts or peanut butter are part of your daily routine, especially if you're over 60, it's time to rethink that habit. Your body, your hormones, and your future health depend on it. The good news. Once you remove these disruptors, your body has an incredible ability to bounce back. You can restore balance, you can rebuild strength, and you can reclaim the part of yourself that felt like it was slipping away. But we're not done yet, because the next nut on this list is marketed as elegant, heart-healthy, and luxurious. But when it's roasted the wrong way, it becomes a cholesterol trap. And it could be silently clogging the very arteries your erections depend on. Macadamia. The hidden cholesterol trap. Macadamia nuts. Just the name sounds refined. They're smooth, rich, and often tucked into gourmet mixes or fancy gift tins. They're sold in upscale grocery stores and promoted as a heart-healthy indulgence. And on the surface, they seem like the perfect snack. But here's the catch: most macadamia nuts lining store shelves aren't raw. They're roasted. And for men over 60, that seemingly small difference can turn this elegant nut into a silent threat. Let me explain. Macadamias are naturally high in monounsaturated fats, the kind often praised for supporting healthy cholesterol levels. But when these nuts are roasted, especially in bulk, using industrial seed oils like soybean or canola, everything changes. The high heat used in the roasting process causes the healthy fats to oxidize, and oxidation creates harmful compounds that damage your blood vessels from the inside out. This is especially dangerous for older men because the blood vessels that matter most for sexual performance, the ones that supply the penis, are some of the smallest and most sensitive in the entire body. In fact, the penile artery is only about 1 to 2 millimeters wide. That's tiny, smaller than the arteries leading to your heart or brain. And that means it's usually the first place in the body to show signs of poor circulation. Before you feel chest pain, before you're diagnosed with heart disease, you might start noticing delayed arousal, softer erections, or a complete lack of response. And the culprit could be hiding in a handful of roasted macadamias. These roasted nuts are also typically coated with salt, and for many older men, sodium is already a problem. Even if you're managing your blood pressure with medication, adding extra salt through snacks like these increases vascular resistance. It forces your heart to work harder just to circulate blood. That added pressure further narrows arteries, which directly impacts the ability to deliver blood where it's needed during intimacy. Less blood flow, less function, less confidence. I've seen it happen again and again. One of my patients, let's call him George, was in his early 70s and considered himself pretty health conscious. He walked daily, took his prescriptions, even monitored his cholesterol. But he couldn't figure out why his energy had tanked and why he hadn't had a solid erection in months. As we reviewed his habits, something stood out. Every evening he was eating a generous handful of roasted macadamias. He thought he was making a smart, heart-healthy choice. But those nuts were roasted in inflammatory oils loaded with salt and damaging his arteries in ways he couldn't feel until it showed up in the bedroom. Once we removed the macadamias and replaced them with raw, unsalted alternatives like walnuts and pistachios, things started to change. Within a few weeks, his blood pressure dropped, his morning erections returned, and that sluggish, drained feeling began to fade. There's also the issue of cholesterol itself. Yes, raw macadamia nuts in small amounts can support healthy lipid levels, but the processed roasted versions often contribute to poor lipid profiles, especially when combined with oils and salt. The truth is, the way a food is prepared matters just as much as the food itself. It's not just about what you're eating, it's about what's been done to it. Roasting at high temperatures, soaking in inflammatory seed oils, dusting with salt to boost flavor and shelf life. These are the invisible changes that turn something beneficial into something harmful. And for men over 60 whose arteries are already more vulnerable, those changes add up fast. Poor arterial health is one of the leading causes of erectile dysfunction in aging men. It's not just about hormones, it's about circulation. And when the pipes are clogged, no amount of medication or supplements can fix the deeper problem. Now, to be clear, this isn't about demonizing macadamia nuts altogether. If you can find them raw, unsalted, and without added oils, they can be part of a balanced diet. But they should never be your daily snack, especially if they're roasted, or come in shiny packaging that promises bold flavors or gourmet crunch. Because the truth is, many of those so-called healthy snacks are just cleverly disguised cholesterol traps packed with oxidized fats and sodium that slowly choke off the very systems your vitality depends on. And worst of all, you won't even feel it happening. There's no warning label, no red flag, just a slow, steady decline in function, confidence, and connection. But it doesn't have to be that way. Just like George, you can make a small shift, a simple replacement, and begin restoring what age and diet may have quietly taken away. Because every bite matters, and every smart choice brings you one step closer to the energy and performance you remember. Now, if macadamia nuts surprised you, wait until you hear about the next one. It's praised as a superfood, packed with selenium, said to boost fertility and hormone health. But in the wrong amounts, it turns toxic, fast-suppressing testosterone-damaging sperm and triggering complete sexual fatigue. Brazil nuts, the selenium time bomb. Brazil nuts. They're often labeled a superfood, rich in selenium, praised for boosting fertility, improving thyroid health, and even protecting against cancer. Sounds impressive, doesn't it? But for men over 60, there's a darker side, one that most people never hear about until it's too late. Because what makes Brazil nuts so powerful is also what makes them dangerous. They are without question the most concentrated natural source of selenium on the planet. Just a single nut can contain over 90 micrograms. That's already more than 150% of the recommended daily intake. Now imagine eating 2 or 3 of them each day, which, let's be honest, many people do, especially those trying to eat clean or optimize their hormones. Within a week, you've consumed toxic levels. And that's when the problems begin. See, selenium is a trace mineral. That means your body needs it, but in tiny, carefully controlled amounts. The problem is, your body doesn't store it well. And once you cross that thin threshold between helpful and harmful, you open the door to a series of issues that quietly erode your energy, your hormones, and your performance. It starts subtly. Fatigue, brain fog, mood swings, maybe even brittle nails or hair loss. But underneath those surface symptoms, something deeper is going wrong. Excess selenium can interfere with testosterone production. It disrupts the balance of critical trace minerals like zinc and magnesium, both essential for male sexual health. It also reduces nitric oxide synthesis, the very compound your body uses to open up blood vessels during arousal. So while you may think you're fueling your body with a superfood, you're actually suppressing the systems that drive desire, arousal, and stamina. Let me tell you about one of my patients. A retired engineer in his early 60s. He was smart, well-read, and extremely committed to staying healthy. He told me I read online that Brazil nuts were great for testosterone, so I started eating 4 or 5 every morning with my breakfast. But instead of feeling stronger, he felt sluggish. His libido vanished. His erections became inconsistent. And his blood work told the rest of the story: testosterone down, sperm quality declining, thyroid under stress. We took a closer look at his diet. And once we removed the Brazil nuts completely, his levels began to bounce back. His energy returned. And within a couple of months, his confidence came with it. Here's something most men don't realize: your thyroid plays a massive role in sexual function. It controls your metabolism. It regulates energy production. And it helps balance key hormones like testosterone and estrogen. But the thyroid is extremely sensitive to selenium. Too little, and it underperforms. Too much, and it becomes toxic. When the thyroid is overstimulated by excessive selenium, everything slows down. Your metabolism, your stamina, your arousal response. And once your thyroid falls out of sync, it can take months to stabilize again, even after you've stopped the offending food. Now, to be absolutely clear, selenium is not the villain here. In the right amount, it supports immune health, sperm production, and even antioxidant defense. But with Brazil nuts, the margin for error is razor thin. There's no built-in stop sign, no bitter taste to warn you. Just a smooth, creamy nut that feels indulgent, but hits your system like a time bomb. So what's the safe approach? For most men, 1 or 2 raw Brazil nuts per week, not per day, is more than enough to meet your selenium needs. But the moment you turn that weekly treat into a daily habit, you may be setting your body up for fatigue, imbalance, and a quiet decline in performance. The saddest part: most people have no idea this is happening. They think they're being healthy. They're following advice from a blog or YouTube video. And meanwhile, their hormone levels are dropping, their motivation is shrinking, and their sense of vitality is fading. It's not fair. But it's preventable. Because now you know. If you're eating Brazil nuts regularly, especially more than 2 or 3 a week, you may be doing your body more harm than good. And just like with the other nuts we've talked about, cashews, peanuts, macadamias, the danger isn't loud, it's not dramatic, it's subtle, it's silent, and it creeps in over time. But when you remove that burden from your system, something incredible happens. Your body starts to heal. Balance returns, and the energy you thought was gone for good slowly starts to come back. That's the power of awareness. And it's why this next nut is perhaps the most dangerous of them all, not because of what it is, but because of what's done to it. It comes in flashy bags, it's packed with flavor, and it's sold in nearly every gas station, grocery store, and vending machine in the country. But inside each handful is a cocktail of oils, sugar, salt, and preservatives that can choke your arteries, disrupt your hormones, and wreck your erections faster than any other nut on this list. Flavored mixed nuts. Erection killers in disguise. You've seen them everywhere. Those flashy, colorful bags at the checkout counter. They promise bold flavor, sweet heat, smoky barbecue, honey-roasted maple glazed. They look fun. They smell amazing. And they feel like a better choice than chips or candy. But for men over 60, these flavored mixed nuts are one of the most dangerous snacks you can casually toss into your shopping cart. Because while they may look innocent on the outside, on the inside, they're hiding a toxic combination of ingredients that can slowly choke your arteries, disrupt your hormones, and destroy your sexual performance. Let's break it down. First, these nuts are rarely raw or naturally roasted. They've been heavily processed, soaked in industrial seed oils like soybean corn or canola, then blasted with heat salt sugar and chemical flavorings. That process turns something that might have once supported your health into something that quietly eats away at your most vital systems. Let's start with blood flow. Every healthy erection begins with circulation. Your blood vessels have to open up and deliver a rush of blood to the penis. If that flow is blocked, restricted, or delayed, performance suffers. And what restricts that flow? Inflammation, high blood pressure, and hardened, narrowed arteries. Flavored mixed nuts create the perfect storm for all three. The seed oils used in processing are high in omega-6 fatty acids, and too much omega-6 throws your body into an inflammatory state. That inflammation affects every part of your vascular system, but especially the small, delicate arteries that support intimacy. Then there's the salt. Some flavored nut mixes contain more than 300 milligrams of sodium in just one handful. For older men, especially those already managing blood pressure, that's a major problem. Elevated blood pressure doesn't just put stress on your heart. It also tightens your arteries, reduces flexibility, and makes it harder for blood to move where it's needed most. What most men don't realize is this erectile dysfunction often shows up years before signs of heart disease. It's an early warning signal that your circulation is already under attack. And if you're ignoring it, you could be missing your chance to fix it before more damage is done. But it gets even worse. These flavored nuts aren't just salty and oily. They're also packed with chemicals designed to preserve shelf life and enhance flavor. Take BHT and TBHQ, for example. These synthetic preservatives are added to keep oils from going rancid, but they've been linked to hormone disruption and even cellular damage. Additives like MSG and artificial smoke or bacon flavorings might taste good, but in some people they act as neurotoxins. They interfere with your brain's ability to regulate hormones, and that affects desire, arousal, and the ability to sustain an erection. Now let's not forget the sugar. Whether they're honey roasted or glazed with maple or brown sugar, these nuts spike your blood sugar fast. And high blood sugar doesn't just lead to weight gain or fatigue. It damages the nerves involved in sexual response. It reduces the availability of nitric oxide, that key compound that relaxes blood vessels and allows for strong, lasting performance. And it suppresses testosterone production too. So what you're really eating isn't just a handful of crunchy flavor. It's a recipe for low-energy hormonal imbalance and fading intimacy. And the scariest part, you don't feel it right away. There's no pain, no obvious side effect. You just start noticing that things aren't quite right in the bedroom. You don't have the same drive, the same response, or the same confidence. You might think it's age, stress, or just part of getting older. But the truth is that little bag of nuts on your coffee table might be doing more damage than you ever imagined. I've had patients come to me frustrated. They've cut out soda-fried foods, even desserts. but every night while watching TV, they're still snacking on flavored mixed nuts, and their blood pressure still high, testosterone still dropping, erections unreliable. But once they stopped eating those flavored nuts and switched to whole raw alternatives, everything began to shift. They felt lighter, more focused, more in control of their bodies again. Their energy returned, their confidence grew, and their intimate life, well, let's just say it no longer felt like a struggle. So here's what I want you to remember. Flavored mixed nuts are not harmless. They're not healthy. They're not even neutral. They're loaded with salt, sugar, chemicals, and oils that work against everything your body needs to feel alive, strong, and connected. If you're serious about protecting your health and reclaiming your vitality, it's time to let them go. Because no snack is worth sacrificing your energy, your manhood, or your ability to feel like yourself. Now, this doesn't mean all nuts are bad, not even close. In fact, there are several that can actually boost your circulation, raise your testosterone, and support better sexual performance if you know which ones to reach for. Now that you know what to avoid, let's focus on something even more powerful, the right foods that can help restore what's been lost. Because not all nuts are enemies. In fact, a few of them are powerful allies, especially when eaten in their natural state. Whole, raw, unprocessed. If you're looking to improve circulation support, testosterone, and protect your sexual health well into your 60s, 70s, and beyond, these are the nuts you need to know. Let's begin with one of the most underrated, walnuts. If there's one nut I consistently recommend to older men trying to reclaim their vitality, it's this one. Walnuts are rich in an amino acid called L-arginine. And why is that important? Because L-arginine helps your body produce nitric oxide, the exact compound that relaxes blood vessels and allows blood to flow freely during arousal. Without enough nitric oxide, your blood vessels can't expand. And that means slower response, softer erections, and less consistency. But walnuts do more than just boost blood flow. They're also packed with omega-3 fatty acids, which fight inflammation unlike the omega-6 heavy nuts we've talked about earlier. Inflammation is one of the root causes of vascular damage in aging men. So reducing it naturally with foods like walnuts is one of the smartest things you can do. And just a small handful raw and unsalted each day is all it takes. Not roasted, not sugar-coated. Just pure, clean walnuts, straight from nature. Now let's talk about almonds. Another excellent choice if you choose the right kind. Almonds are rich in vitamin E, magnesium, and zinc, 3 nutrients directly linked to sexual health, nerve function, and testosterone production. Vitamin E is especially critical as we age because it protects the endothelium, the inner lining of your blood vessels. When this lining is strong and flexible, nitric oxide can be released more easily and blood flow remains smooth and responsive. Magnesium helps with energy production and blood pressure regulation, while zinc supports testosterone and sperm health. But again, this only works if you're eating almonds in their raw, unsalted form. No honey glaze, no added oils, no artificial coatings. Processed versions may look the same, but they don't behave the same inside your body. So stick to simple whole almonds and give your system the support it needs. And now, one of the most surprising nuts when it comes to erectile health: pistachios. Believe it or not, there's actual clinical research showing that men who eat pistachios daily experience measurable improvement in erectile function. In one study, men who ate a small handful every day for 3 weeks saw firmer erections, better blood lipid levels, and increased satisfaction in the bedroom. Why? Because pistachios are loaded with antioxidants, plant sterols, and arginine, all of which promote healthy blood flow and protect against oxidative stress. Oxidative stress damages blood vessels over time, making it harder for your body to respond when intimacy calls. But antioxidants from foods like pistachios can help reverse that damage and restore healthy function. Another great benefit of pistachios: they're lower in calories compared to other nuts, making them a smart option if you're also trying to maintain a healthy weight. Now let's take a moment to look at what all three of these nuts have in common. They're whole. They're raw. They're free from added oils, salt, and flavorings. They come directly from nature with nothing extra and nothing harmful added. That's the secret. That's the difference. Because the problem with most nuts isn't the nut itself, it's what's been done to it. When you eat them roasted, salted, glazed, or flavored, you're not just getting healthy fats. You're getting preservatives, inflammatory oils, and hormonal disruptions you never signed up for. But when you eat them raw in moderation, they can support your blood vessels, your hormones, and your performance in ways that no pill or supplement ever could. And I've seen it firsthand. So many of my older male patients, once discouraged, tired, and unsure of themselves, have reclaimed their energy and confidence simply by swapping out the wrong nuts for the right ones. It didn't take expensive prescriptions or awkward conversations at the pharmacy. It took a decision, a small shift, and a little consistency. Because food is never neutral. It's either helping you or quietly working against you. Every bite you take either supports your ability to live fully or slowly shuts it down. And as we age, the margin for error becomes smaller. So choose wisely, choose clean, choose simple, and most importantly, choose what gives you life. Because the best years of your life are still in front of you. Now we've talked about the foods that can help or hurt. But there's one more piece of the puzzle, a daily habit that millions of older men do without thinking, that may be silently sabotaging their erections every single day. If you've made it this far, I want you to take a moment to recognize something important. You care. You're not someone who's given up or who believes it's too late. You're still in this. You're still fighting for your energy, your identity, and your sense of purpose. And that tells me more about you than any lab result or diet ever could. Because what we've talked about in this video isn't just about snacks. It's about habits. It's about daily choices. And it's about quiet patterns that shape how we feel as men, especially after 60. Cashews, peanuts, macadamias, Brazil nuts, and flavored mixed blends. These aren't just foods. They're signals. They represent the little things we do every day, often without thinking, that slowly chip away at our strength. And when you add them all together, they form a silent routine that leads to low energy, poor blood flow, hormonal imbalance, and fading intimacy. But today, you've done something powerful. You've broken the pattern, you've brought it to light, and awareness is always the first step toward real change. Now here's what I want you to take with you. Your body is not broken. Your best days are not behind you. And even if you've spent years doing things that worked against your health, it's not too late to reverse course, because the human body is incredibly forgiving when you stop feeding it what hurts and start giving it what it truly needs. So let's talk about that one last habit, the one that often goes unnoticed but plays a massive role in how you feel every single day. I'm talking about passive snacking, that mindless late-night habit of reaching into the pantry, not because you're hungry, but because you're bored, tired, or just stuck in routine. It often starts innocently. You sit down to watch a show, or you scroll through your phone, and your hand reaches for something salty, crunchy, and familiar. Before you know it, you've eaten 2 handfuls of roasted, salted, sugar-glazed snacks, not because your body needed fuel, but because your brain craved comfort. And that single daily habit done over weeks, months, or years can slowly undo all the hard work you've put into your health. It's not about willpower, it's about intention. It's about creating an environment where you're not constantly surrounded by triggers. So here's what I encourage you to do. Take stock of your kitchen. Look at the labels. If it's roasted in oil packed with salt, sugar, or preservatives, let it go. Replace it with whole foods that love your body back. Raw almonds, a handful of walnuts, pistachios in their shells because they slow you down. But more than anything, be aware of why you're reaching for food. Is it to nourish yourself or to numb something else? Because here's the truth, you deserve more than a distracted life. You deserve vitality, clarity, connection. And every time you make a mindful choice, whether it's swapping out a harmful food or simply pausing before you snack, you take one step closer to the life you want. Not just in your body, but in your relationships, your confidence, and your sense of purpose. We live in a culture that often tells older men to step aside, to slow down, to accept decline as inevitable. But I don't believe that. I believe this chapter of life, your chapter, can be just as powerful, passionate, and fulfilling as any other, if you're willing to fight for it. Not with supplements or surgeries, but with the small, quiet, consistent decisions that add up to lasting change. You've just learned what most people never will, and now it's in your hands. So don't just listen. Act. Start by clearing your cabinets. Bring in the right foods, toss out the wrong ones, and each time you do, remind yourself this isn't about losing something, it's about reclaiming something. Your strength, your vitality, your fire, because that spark inside you, it's still there, waiting. And with the right care, it can burn brighter than ever. Stay strong, stay sharp, and never stop believing in your ability to feel alive again. You've got this. And I'm proud of you for taking the first step. If you'd like, I can help you turn this into a full downloadable script or voiceover-ready version. Let me know if you want to begin the final polish or get a summarized CTA for the end. If this video helped open your eyes, even just a little, to the small hidden habits that could be stealing your strength, then don't let this be the end of your journey. Let it be the beginning of something better. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on notifications so you never miss another life-changing insight. Because here, we're not just talking about health. We're reclaiming energy, vitality, and purpose. One real conversation at a time. And I want to hear from you. Type 1 in the comments if you found something valuable today, even one thing you're going to change. Or type 0 if you didn't. Your voice matters. Your feedback helps shape the topics that could change lives, maybe even your own. And if you know a friend, a brother, or someone you care about who needs to hear this, share this video with them. Because you never know, one simple shift in awareness might be all it takes to give a man his confidence back. Stay curious, stay committed, and never stop learning how to take care of the man you are and the life you still have ahead. I'm with you every step of the way.